Hello and welcome again to the Chancel of Christ Church, Cooperstown, I should say. There's a lot of Christ churches around out there. My name is Dane Boston. I am the rector of Christ Church, and I've been offering these little instructional videos, or informational videos, I should say, about certain questions that you all pose to me that I've received via email or comments underneath the videos and things like that. I actually noted last week that I wished I had a snappier name for these videos, and a friend from South Carolina very helpfully emailed with a couple of good suggestions, but the one I liked best was Chancel Chats. So we'll have another Chancel chat here this morning, talking especially about what's coming up this week. Today is the 6th Sunday of Easter, which means that Ascension Day is Thursday, the Feast of the Ascension, the celebration of the Ascension of Jesus into heaven. One of the sadly neglected major feasts of the church, in my opinion. I always love when we're able to be together on Ascension Day to have an evening service with a cookout afterwards. The weather usually allows it. But the days before Ascension Day are what I want to talk about in this video. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the week of the 6th Sunday of Easter are often called the Rogation Days, or as a season, Rogationtide. And some of you may know this custom, you may be familiar with these days, some of you have never heard of them before, but they're noted right there in the calendar at the beginning of our prayer book. And in the Book of Occasional Services, there's a couple of different options for observing the Rogation Days. So first of all, what are they all about? Well, rogation, the English word rogation, comes to us from the Latin word rogare, which means to ask or beseech. So they are days on which, traditionally, the clergy and the people of the parish would beseech God on behalf of the produce of the land. That is to say, we pray and ask for a good harvest, recognizing, especially in pre-modern times, that weather and a good crop and all those things were pretty much essential for life, and that if the crops failed or there was a drought, famine would ensue. The people set aside a special time to pray God's blessing on the crops of their community, on the things that they would need to live for the year ahead. Now, there's all kinds of interesting questions about where this custom came from. It almost certainly replaced pagan practices that had existed for centuries, asking the blessings of certain deities on certain crops and aspects of agricultural life. It's another example of the way the church has always been very resourceful about taking customs that were already in existence and, in a sense, baptizing them. Saying, well, you've always recognized that you need the blessing of God to live. You used to attribute that to false gods. We're going to give it now, give all glory to the true God, and recognize that we have to put ourselves before Him. Recognize that all our gifts come from Him, and ask Him that He will bless us in the season ahead, the growing season ahead. So the Rogation Days were a day to go out from the church into the fields and bless the growing things that are necessary for our life, for our continued existence. They also, in England, took on a feature of beating the bounds of the parish, giving us a chance to go out and recognize where the traditional markers are that symbolize the physical, geographical parish, not to symbolize, but that delineate the geographical parish and show where it exists. And so that's very, very important. There's a lot in the Old Testament in particular that warns against moving boundary markers. You can imagine, again, in a society without surveying lines and maps and things, traditional markers were an important part of saying, hey, my field goes from here to that stone right there, and then on the other side of it is my neighbor's field. And I shouldn't move that stone into my neighbor's field and try to get myself a few more feet or acres, and neither should he try to encroach on my territory. It was a way of keeping the community clear in its boundaries, and also then showing respect for everyone in their life and work. So the Rogation Days were accompanied by processions outside, traditionally with the chanting of the Litany of Saints, or certainly after the Reformation in England with the Great Litany, and an occasion to bless various livestock, fields, whatever we may want to bless that is for us a sign and symbol of God's good creation for us, and then with a special service here in the church. So since we can't be together in the next couple of days, we can't celebrate Rogationtide with any of the traditional rituals, I want to encourage you at home to take some time on Monday, Tuesday, and or Wednesday of this week to get outside. If you're a gardener, do some planting. If you are not a gardener, and I am not, I have no ability to grow anything, take a walk out in the woods. Or if you live near some farms, take a walk along the edge of the fields. If you're close to the Farmers Museum here in Cooperstown, this would be a great time to walk along the roadway there outside of the farm, the fields at the Farmers Museum, and appreciate the wonder of the things that we need for life growing up out of the ground as an expression of the goodness of God's creation. Say a prayer to yourself as you engage in those activities, as you give thanks for those things, and remember that all good gifts around us are sent from heaven above. So thank the Lord for all his love, as the hymn puts it. So thank you all so much. Have a great week. I'll look forward to seeing you virtually for some services around the Feast of the Ascension, which, as I said, is coming up this Thursday. But keep Rogationtide. Enjoy being outside. Enjoy the beauty of God's creation in the days ahead. God bless you. Thank you for watching.